Good day, everyone, and welcome to the webinar on Candy Masters. My name is Brindley Webster. I am a technical consultant here at the CCS offices in Centurion. It is my pleasure to present this webinar to you. Today I'll be showing you the Candy Masters that Candy have developed based on the JBCC, SABS, and COLSO framework. I will elaborate on what you get and how to use the Candy Masters to speed up your tendering and pricing process. Due to the large number of people logged into this webinar, we will not be able to answer any questions during the webinar. However, please submit your questions during the session with the provided function on screen. At the end of the webinar, we will collate these questions and send the answers to everybody that registered for the webinar via email. Please note that the webinar will be recorded and you will receive a link to download it. There's a webinar once a month on various Candy topics. Should you not be able to attend the webinar at the given time frame, please still register for the webinar, as this will entitle you to receive a recorded copy of the webinar. Let's get started. The agenda. We will start off by looking at the master functionality in Candy. We will then look at the CCS Masters for Candy. Thereafter, we will look at the benefits of the CCS Masters. Next, we'll look at the CCS Masters which we have available, one being the JBCC, two being the SABS, and three, the COLSO. We will then look at the steps required to effectively use the CCS Masters. And lastly, I will give you the sales information. Masters functionality in Candy. In Candy, the user has the ability to use any previously priced job as a master, from which bill items, rates, build-ups, and resources are used to price new tenders or new jobs. The master job is normally created by the estimator or estimating team to help speed up and maintain and standardize the pricing process across the tendering departments. The master contains codes, definitions, and settings which are automatically copied across into new estimates, thus saving you time in structuring, analyzing, and finalizing your tender. CCS Masters for Candy. The development of a master is a tedious activity which requires time, resources, and dedication. CCS has developed masters based on the following industry standards: the JBCC 2000 Principal Building Agreement, July 2007, your SABS 1200, and your COLSO 2000. Now let's look at the benefits of the CCS Master. So you get rate build-ups as per industry norms, complex resource rate build-ups, a structured template worksheets, preset heading level structure for the BOQ, preset level heading structure for the resource list, preset resource coding structure, preset trades, resource types, and global variables. And then your labor is as per the bargaining council. However, your company will need to adjust to suit your company's payroll structure. And then lastly, the template indirect bill to assist you in pricing your preliminaries. But let's look at the first master, which is your Candy Master based on the JBCC. So what does it contain? It contains preset level heading structures based on the JBCC framework, 1,485 priced bill items with preset template worksheets as per industry norms, preset heading structure on resource list, 623 simple resources with preset coding structure, 280 complex resource with preset worksheet templates, 45 predefined trades, 9 predefined resource types, and 17 global variables. Now let's look at what the master does not contain. Does not contain resource rates. The reason being, price of concrete today is not the same as what it will be tomorrow. Markup, that is up to you and your company to decide on. And lastly is cost codes and task codes, because these are different for each and every company. On the right hand side, you will see a screenshot of the level heading structure in the JBCC master. Next, we're going to look at the Candy master based on the SABS. What does it contain? It contains preset level heading structures based on the JBCC framework, 359 priced bill items with preset template worksheet as per industry norms, preset heading structure on resource list, 311 simple resources with preset coding structure, 209 complex resources with preset worksheet templates, 45 predefined trades, 9 predefined resource types, and 17 global variables. What does the master not contain? It does not contain resource rates as per the other masters, markup, cost, and task codes. On the right hand side, you'll see a level heading structure of the SABS master. Now let's have a look at the Colto master. What does it contain? As per the previous masters, it contains preset level heading structures based on the SABS framework, 1,502 priced bill items with preset template worksheets as per industry norms, preset heading structure on resource list, 611 simple resources with preset coding structure, 131 complex resources with preset worksheet templates, 45 predefined trades, 9 predefined resource types, and 17 global variables. What does it not contain? It doesn't contain resource rates, markup, cost, and task codes. On the right-hand side, you will see a breakdown of the level heading structure of the Colto master. Let's look at the steps required to full utilization of the CCS Masters. Number one, you would need to set the CCS Master as your master job. Number two, you would open your current tender or job. Number three, you would price the tender by allocating master price codes to the tender. You would decide on the construction methods. You would update your production to suit your company standards. You would update your wastage to suit the company standards. Number seven, you would update your resource rates, which is your labor, plant, and material. And then you would also input subcontractor rates. You would then apply markup. The above steps would be the same for all of the masters. We will now do a demonstration on how you would go about using the masters to price a new tender. For this example, we'll be using the JBCC master. In Candy, you will see that I have my masters set, my JBCC, Colto, and SABS. And then I have my tenders for 2019. The scenario that we're going to look at is your client has sent you an electronic copy of the BOQ that is required to be priced. I have received it from my client. Here it is here. I will copy it. from Excel. Then in Candy, I will right click, create a new job. We're going to call this tender the ABC Commercial Park Tender. There you see I've included my new tender. I will go into the tender. I will click on Bill Prep, and then this screen comes up where you would need to select your master. The copy option, so when you set a master, these are the following, this is the following information that gets pulled through from your master. So we're going to click on Change Master. At the bottom left, you'll see companies and jobs, so you can select from your companies and jobs. In the middle is your recent masters. So the more you use masters, they'll be sitting under your recent masters. And then your network masters is where you have a team, a bigger company that has a team of estimators. That is where they would access the company master from. There'd be one estimator, the chief estimator, who is in charge of that master and in charge of updating it. So that there's one source of truth, one source of information. All the estimators are using one master to price all their tenders. We're going to select companies and jobs. Open up my masters folder and select my JBCC master. Click on OK, and now you see that it is changed to there. I click on OK again. I then click on Bill Importing, and because I've copied the Excel, I can right click and paste it. I will then need to identify the columns. First column being my page number, the next being my item number, next is my description, my unit, and my bill quantity. Click on continue. This is my bill import status. It tells me that it's been imported successfully. The next thing I would need to do is set up my level heading structure. That would be a 1, that would be a 2, that would be a 3, and my brickwork would be a 2. So now if I close my level heading structure, I open up my level heading 1, I see my 2s, I open up my 2s, and there's my 3, and then I open up my 2 for brickwork, and there are my priceable items. Okay, can close this. Just to show you what has been pulled through from the master. Because we have selected a master, the following gets copied through. So if you click on your estimating definitions and settings, you will see that my trades have been pulled through from my master. My resource types have been pulled through from my master, and my global variables have also been pulled through from my master. If I click on the B, it opens up my bill of quantities, which is as per the bill sent through from the client. If I hover my mouse over, it tells me. If I hold shift down and click on the B, it opens up my master pricing bill. This scenario can be used if a company is creating their own bill of quantities. They could use the master to click and drag from the master into their pricing bill to create a BOQ. If I click on my price code list, my P for price code list, you'll see that is empty. If I hold shift down on my keyboard and click on the P, you will see this is my master price code listing. The same happens with your resource list. If I click on the R, it opens up my resource list for my job, which is ABC Commercial Park Tender. If I hold shift down and click on the R, it opens up my master resource list. If I close my level headings to level heading 1s, you see that your resources have been broken down into the following, which makes it easier to navigate when pricing a tender. So we're going to click on our B to open up our bill of quantities. Now we need to analyze the tender to find out how we're going to go about pricing our 20 MPa concrete in foundations. The first scenario we're going to look at is by double clicking in the net rate column. Before I price an item, I need to allocate a trade. Click on yes. These trades have been pulled through from your master. I'm going to select concrete and green tickets. Now I have the worksheet open for my 20 MPa concrete in foundations. I'm going to click on insert a worksheet. I'm going to change my source to the master, and we can use these spinners to find the actual item that we're looking for. So as you click down, you'll see that the description changes, which gives you an idea of what item you are actually pricing. So we're looking for 20 MPa concrete in foundations. There I see from my master my reinforced 20 MPa concrete in strip footings. I click on OK, and it is pulled through the worksheet from my master. On the top half, at the top we have our variables, and below that we have our calculation. If I change a variable, it will change in my calculation. So as a check, confidence check, it is good to make sure that your variables are correct, which would mean that your calculations are correct. First thing we're going to do is our concrete. We're going to put in the price that we've got from our supplier, open up the concrete. So this is a complex worksheet for my 20 MPa concrete. We have on the top under variables, if it has a hash in front of the square brackets, in the square brackets, it means that it is a global variable. Global variables apply to the whole job. Local variables only apply to the worksheet that you're working in. I can change between ready mix and site mix concrete by changing my global variable. I'll do an example. Click on estimating definitions and settings. There are my global variables 2.4. My ready mix is set to 100%. If I change that to 0 and I change my site mix concrete to 100%, click on OK, and that would mean that this item would be used instead of the ready mix. So you'll see it's changed up there. I'm going to use, for this example, my ready mix. So I'm going to change my ready mix, my site batch back to 0, and my ready mix back to 100. Click on OK, and you see now in the worksheet that it's changed to 100. The price that I got from my concrete supplier is 1,100 Rand per cube. I'm going to change my store option to store and back to documents. Store the complex. At my company, I believe that we can do 3 cubes per hour. And for my waste, I'm going to change it to 5. So you see, whatever you change in your variables changes in your calculation. I'm going to change my store option to store and return to documents. Store the worksheet. Click on calculate. And there you see I've priced my first concrete item using the master. For the next item, which is your 25 MPa concrete in ground slabs, I'm going to show you a different way of pricing it. I'm going to put my pricing ball in the top half of my screen. I'm going to hold shift down and click on the B to open up my master pricing bowl. In my master pricing bowl, I'm going to shift control spacebar to close all my level headings. I'm going to open them up, go to concrete. I'm going to go to reinforced concrete, and we're looking for concrete in ground slabs. So you can scroll through, look through all your master pricing items. There is my reinforced 25 MPa concrete in surface beds. Surface beds and ground slabs are the same thing. Now I'm going to show you a scenario where I am including all items. You see that it pulls through everything from the master. I don't want that to happen. I want my master price code to go into my ground slabs. I'll show you how this is done. You will delete that item. You will then click on Tools, Bill Options, and you'll select the second option, which is Override Price Codes when dropping the bill record on existing. Click on OK. And now if you watch what happens, I'm going to click and drag and drop it into the ground slabs. And you see, instead of adding the item, it's actually just pulled through the worksheet for the 25 MPa concrete and ground slabs. I'm going to go into my worksheet. So as the previous worksheet, you would change your output and your waste. Then include my rates that I received from my supplier for my 25 MPa ready mix concrete. I'm going to change that to 1,400 Rand per cube. Click on OK. Store the complex. I want to change my output to 3 cubes per hour, and change my output, my waste to 10%. I store this worksheet, click on calculate, and there you see I've priced my second concrete item in my tender. For item C, we're going to use the exact same method by clicking and dragging from our master. So we're looking for 25 MPa concrete in transformer bases. In my master, I scroll and I see reinforced 25 MPa concrete in bases. I can simply click on the item, drag it, and drop it. And you see I have priced my item for 25 MPa concrete in transformer bases. Just to check, I'm going to go into my worksheet. And as per the previous item, change my variables, change my output to 3, and I'm happy with leaving my waste at 10%. You see that because in the previous item, I priced 1,400 Rand per cube. It is pulled through. I can then store the worksheet, click on calculate, and there I have priced my concrete item. Next, we're going to close our pricing ball and maximize our master pricing ball and maximize our pricing ball. I have 2 items left to price. The one is 1 brick wall in foundations. I'm going to use which I feel is the quickest method of pricing by clicking in the price code column, double clicking. By double clicking, you see it opens up your master price codes. Here is your job price codes, and then the next tab is your master price codes. So I'm looking for 1 brick wall in foundations. I have an option to search. You can search for foundations, and it'll highlight all the items that contain foundations. Keep clicking until I find the item that I'm looking for, which is 1 brick wall. And there is 1 brick wall in foundations. I can green tick that, pull through. Now I can go into the worksheet. So this is the worksheet for the 1 brick wall in foundations. As before, on the top you have your variables. By changing any of these variables, it affects your calculations at the bottom. So if we look at our first calculation, our first resource, it is bricks, your stocks. I managed to get a price which I'm going to update to 3,000 Rand per thousand. Click on OK. So it's 3,000 per thousand multiplied by your local variable, which is bricks. If I look at the top at my variables, there are 104 bricks in a square meter in a one brick wall, divided by 1,000 to get a rate per square meter. Next, I have my 1 in 5 brickwork mortar. I'm going to go into my complex. This is the complex worksheet for my mortar. On the top, I see my variables, my cement sand, which is my ratios, my cement, my wallcrete. I'm going to update that resource to 80 Rand per 50 kg pocket. And my building sand, I'm going to update to 320 Rand per cube. So the cost of my mortar is 1,006 Rand. Store that complex. The rate that I received from my 150 brick ties is 3.50 Rand. Go into my resource, change these to 3.50 Rand. Click on OK. My mortar, you will see that is the ratio per cube net. My ties is 3.50 each times ties. Ties is at the moment sitting at 0 plus 20%. I'm going to change that 0 to 6 per square meter. And lastly, I need to price my labor. So you have three options. Right on the top, where X is equal to 2, you can select from 1 to 3. By selecting 1 to 3, that is number 1, which is your bricklaying internal team. Number 2, which is your labor only stocks per 1,000. And number 3, which is your labor only stocks units, which is setting your adjudicator. I want to use a external labor only subcontractor. So by me having my X on 2 would mean that I have selected number 2. I'm going to change the rate that I pay them. I'm going to pay them 950 Rand per 1,000, which equates to 95 cents per brick. So it's 950 per 1,000 times bricks. If you remember, as before, there's 104 bricks in a square meter divided by 1,000, which equates to 98 Rand 80 per square meter. You can store this worksheet, click on calculate, and I get a rate of 511 Rand 48 for my one brick wall in foundation. The next brickwork item, as I said, I'm going to use the quick way by double clicking in my price code column. And in this scenario, I'm going to say that we know that our resource starts with a B. So by typing in a B, it highlights all the B's, the price codes that start with B's. I'm looking for one brick wall in 2 half brick skins. So there it is. I'm looking for one brick wall, green tick that. And then I'm going to go into my worksheet. First thing I'm going to look at is my superstructure bricks. I'm going to change the rate to 2,800 Rand per 1,000. And you see it works out there. My mortar's already been updated because in the previous item I've already priced it. My ties are still 0 because I need to tell the system that there are 6 per square meter. And then my labor. My labor, you'll see there's 118 Rand sitting in my internal team. I don't want to use my internal team. I prefer to use an external labor only subcontractor. I'm going to change that X to 2. And then you'll see that it changes to my labor only stocks per thousand, which we've updated in the previous item at 95 cents per brick. Gives you 98 Rand 80 per square meter. Store this worksheet. I click on calculate, and there you see I have a complete priced BOQ. I will now need to apply markup to my tender. I can close my pricing bill, click on my document manager, open up 1.6, my markup bill. In the markup percentage column, I'll right click, general markup utilities, markup all trades by 15%. Click on OK, confirm yes, complete successfully. Click OK. Now you see that there's 15% that has been applied across the board. I click on calculate. So my net amount is 2.6 million. My gross, 3,081,000. We can now look at some reports. So from all the hard work that we've done, click on reports. I want to look at specific reports. I'll back up from a file. ABC Commercial Park, recover the data. First report we'll look at is our BOQ, page totals, gross. Click on preview. So this is the report that you would print for your tender submission. Gross because it includes markup. This is my page 1, which is my concrete items. The next page is my brickwork items. And the last page is a summary of my item. Close this report. Next report we'll look at is our BOQ listing with worksheet net. Click on preview. So this report is net, meaning cost. And you'll see that I have my bill item, but now I have below my bill item the actual workings of that. How do I get to that rate? So this is a nice report that you can print, estimators can print to look through, to scrutinize each bill item. Okay, I can close this report. The next report we're going to look at is our resource list. So in my resource list, I can see my usage. So I'll see my resource code, my description, unit, final rate, my usage, and my amount. So for this job, we have 20 ampere concrete. My rate is 1,100. And I have 142 cubes usage, total amounts of 155,000. We have an even better report, which is the resource percentage. This report will sort the resources by value and help you identify the key resources. Click on customize, happy with those options, using my bill quantity and preview the report. So now you see that it sorts them, and my 25 MPa concrete, there's my utilization, my rate, the amount. So you see the total percentage of my tender is 25%, 25% of your 25 MPa concrete. Close that report. Next, we're going to look at our wastage reports. Preview the reports. So now you see the waste per resource. So for my 20 MPa concrete, I have 5% waste. The waste amount is 7,425 Rand. And at the bottom, I have a total amount for my waste. As I said before, all these steps would apply to all the masters. So you see that we have fully utilized the ball by setting it as our master, opening our current job, pricing the tender, deciding on the construction methods, updating our production and waste, updating our resource rates, we've applied markup, and we looked at some reports. Lastly is the sales information. If you're interested in any of these masters, please feel free to email us on sales@ccssa.com. Alternatively, you can call us on 012 684 6000. Thank you for your time, and I trust that you now have a greater insight into the CCS Candy Masters available for sale to you. Please remember to email your local office if you want to know more about the CCS Candy Masters. We will keep you informed of the next webinar, and remember, if you are unable to join on the selected time, please still register and you will receive the recording, which you can watch in your own time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Until the next webinar, goodbye for now.